Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we talk about all things reality TV or whatever. I am Pharaoh, your host, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Lily. How you doing?
I'm doing swell. This was like the best week of the season. All of my girls were safe, Betty and Summer. Double safety for the blacks. This was just a good week. Like, this felt like reparations for all of the terrible things my face has been throughout the season. Like, for once, we were winning consistently. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't even, the thing is, I've been so out of touch from this season ever since Herman left that I really couldn't even, like, revel in it.
Mm-hmm. Bask in it.
So this is what I'm here to do.
Drown in it.
Drown in it.
So as you see, we are going to be talking about Big Brother Canada week. What the fuck week is this?
Girl.
Week 8? Question mark? Anyways, or whatever. And so, child, we finished the last week off with my baby Moosapoo. My baby Moosapoo went home, child.
Out, about to out.
About to get our Moose out. Look, his time was ticking. I ain't gonna lie. So him being on, look, hey, we can move along. So what had happened was we had an endurance HOA. Actually, yeah, we had an endurance HOA competition. That boy Marty done won. Baby, the way everybody was finna swarg at Marty, and Marty needed this HOA, and he got this HOA, like Loki.
Oh, and the thing is, it was crazy because this has been such a great week, but it really started off on a bad note. Mm-hmm. I don't know how Marty old ass keep beating these young people in these competitions, but this old ass man keeps doing it. Like, I guess props to him for that. But my bad bitch Betty stayed on that wall for 5 hours before dropping.
And did?
5, okay? I feel like Marty has definitely proven himself to be great at endurance competition. So the fact that Betty lasted 5 hours on that wall, and also, too, when it comes to mental competition, she was one of the only people who came close to beating Geno, who's been proven to be good at these competitions. So y'all need to put some respect on my bitch's name. I've been saying it since week 1. I'm going to continue to say it. Put some respect on Betty's name.
Period. Miss Bethlehem.
Business B.
So Marty wins the head of household. So, you know, the audience is like, boo, that sucks. However, basically, Marty was like, look, I'm finna target Betty, and Betty is my target. I'm gonna put her up against Josh, and Business B has to go. So he
very much anybody black. You know, Marty, he's not gonna target any person of Caucasian descent during his HOA. You know, you definitely, it's giving very much like you like, if you fail the brown paper bag test, you are eligible for nomination.
Oh, he's gonna put a Business B and what's that boy name? Josh. And so basically he was like, look, the reason I'm gonna be Summer. So basically, Beach Canada was like, thank you, Canada. Thank you, Canada. Basically, Canada was like, what's that TikTok? Anyways, so Miss Summer Sales wins safety for the week.
And that's when I knew. That's when I claimed it. I claimed that this week will be ours. I was like, you know what? Because God has it in the cards. I was like, someone winning that means it has to mean something, and it definitely did. It definitely did, because as I just mentioned, Marty is looking to nominate anybody black. So even though that Betty and Josh are up, Summer is the last Negro in the house, so she definitely would have been the renom. But Canada came through. Thank you, Canada.
Thank you, Canada.
I want to say thank you, Arissa. The thing is, Arissa has been trying to help the niggas, okay? I will give it to Arissa because she's been trying to help our black girls in their house. She didn't gave us a secret veto last week. She didn't give us safety before. This bitch had to give us another safety and make sure Marty couldn't even be in it because she knew the bitches would fuck it up. So thank you, Arissa, for looking out, okay? Because I really see what you're trying to do. Sadly, they can't win shit in there.
They can't. It's honestly at this point it's gonna be their fault. But they can win shit now. Because wait a minute. So first of all, I want to address the uncolored women. Why when Summer, child? So Summer won the thing. The fees was off, Why when the fees come back, here go JC Lynn.
In tears. Yeah, because Canada likes a bad bitch. Canada doesn't like a bitch who just cuddled up, doing nothing the entire game. Like, JC Lynn's self-awareness is literally on zero. Because, like, she's literally said on feeds before, I think people are going to dislike me because I'm with Geno, and everyone wants Geno. So, you're right. We all do want to fuck Geno, but no one's mad at you because of it, babe. We're actually embarrassed for Geno. I don't understand why she's shocked, because Summer is that bitch. Just because you don't like Summer, clearly your man does.
And Helena over there in the corner hyping her up. Helena, you get lashings too. Mind you, my memory was refreshed this week because basically I saw a tweet and it was like, mind you, JC Lynn and Helena, who was bound down on their knees for a motherfucking man all fucking season, was like, yeah, Summer just seems like the type of player who's just gonna do anything to help a man win. And we don't like that. And it's like,
both of them are playing for a man to win, but okay.
Mind you.
Summer's number one ally was a woman.
Child. So speaking of playing for a man to win, Kevin is tasked after Betty and Josh and this is after? Before? It don't fucking matter.
Well, this is after Vito won too, but it's fine. We can talk about it now.
I want to talk about it now because I want to give Helena her lashings. Why the fuck? Kevin was tasked with the idea of, I don't even know what the fuck the idea was. Basically, Kevin had to tell everybody he was quitting and he had to walk out the door. So what the fuck? I'm going to just say this. If it was me and I was in that house and Lee came to me and Lee was like, me and Lee know each other outside the house and I still wouldn't give a fuck. If Lee came to me and was like, I have to leave because I just feel like I can't do this, I'd be like, oh, I just feel like whatever is best for your mental health, you should definitely do. If that means you need to leave the house, I will help you pack your bags and go. Maybe I'm trying to win, I fear. Like, why the fuck was Josh crawling like he literally damn near just lost his life? Like, sir.
Bad. Down bad for the white man. I don't understand. And you know what? I will consider myself a Caucasian man's whore at sometimes.
You are.
Be crying. Like you are, Josh. I was so disappointed. Because, like, okay, and the thing is, I feel like it really just shows, like, Kevin's influence in the house, because Geno was upset, Summer was upset, Betty was upset, everybody was upset, but the most two upset was, you know, his minions, the people who are playing for him to win, Josh and Helena. So he tells Helena, and Helena literally drops down to her knees, wraps her body around his leg, and refuses to let him go. A grown woman, y'all. A grown woman. On her hands and knees for a man. Not only a man, a white man. Now, Helena stands, I'm so sorry if you're watching this podcast. I am so sorry. But
this might not be the podcast for you.
Even y'all can admit that was embarrassing down. That was embarrassing down. And Josh, like I said, grown man. It's the fact that the sick thing about it is that Josh is so upset by the simple fact of Kevin leaving, whereas Josh has literally contemplated this man going home for weeks. Like, it's like we're literally seeing how one does not give a fuck and the other is literally ready to kill himself, damn near, because he's leaving. It's insane.
Oh god. Whatever that twist was, I didn't like it. I felt like it could like really just mess with.
They just like towards the end, Big Brother Canada loves to fill with like filler. So you're gonna get a lot of like Marsha the Moose and random shit because they have nothing to really show, so they have to show something.
Child, so Betty and Josh are nominated, and then we get to the Power Veto competition. I don't even know who played, and I don't care because who won?
Business Bethlehem B. And I want to address some bitches on them Twitter streets, because when Nia Farrell gave Betty the second highest score last week, a lot of y'all were confused. A lot of y'all were perplexed. I saw comments saying higher than Helena and Helena? What? You mean the girl who almost got nominated this week? And then you can argue, oh, Betty was nominated, but guess what? She also earned her safety.
Indeed.
So now what? So
What now?
Put some respect on a bad bitch's name, okay? My girl was nominated, went out there, won that veto for herself. She was competing next to Josh.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Geno was playing. The Emma was playing except Jason Lynn, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Beat all of them. Put some respect on my bitch's name.
Period. Girl, Betty done won the veto. And so it's giving Summer is safe. Betty is safe. Uh-oh! He's out of blacks! He ran out of blacks, y'all!
So guess what? The thing is, he couldn't even choose, girl. He had to let gummy bears choose, girl.
He said, when it comes to the white people, it's just too much.
Like, Marty was so against nominating a white person, he had to do random.org to do it. Like, that is insane. He said, I refuse to choose a white nominee. I refuse. If you're not black, I'm not choosing. That's exactly what it was given. Because he was ready to put up anybody with color.
Any person of color. And the gag is, he was like, I guess it might have to be Helena. At first.
That was the first option.
Helena girl,
watch out.
Uh-oh. She got fucking lucky that she been sucking a white man's dick all fucking season. So basically, Marty was like, is it going to be Helena, Kevin, Geno? Oh, God, he was literally going to have an aneurysm trying to nominate a white person. He could not do it. He was damn near going to cry. So he was like, look, it's going to have to be a gummy bear. He woke up. He was like, I can't decide. I just can't do it. Mm-hmm. He was like, JC Lynn, Helena, and Kevin. It's going to be 3 gummy bears in this motherfucking thing. One of them's going to be red. The other 2 are going to be yellow. Whoever gets red is getting nominated. I didn't put Geno's gummy bear in here because I done wrong Geno 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times. So it's going to be up to Geno whether or not he is cool with that. Here go Geno. I feel like you should just add another gummy in there. As the man that I am, as the white savior man.
People always feel like they gotta prove something. Put me in there. For what?
For what? Unprovoked.
It's the fact that he's literally going home for his. When he goes home Thursday, you can technically say he did it to himself.
Mm-hmm.
And his score tonight will definitely be reflecting that.
It just has to reflect it.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah.
This man, okay. Of the 4 gummy bear options, what was it? 4. Helena and Kevin probably were not going to go home if they were to renom. Exactly. But Jason, Lynn, and Geno.
Like, the thing is, this is why this was such a good week for us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We started off in hell with Marty winning.
Mm-hmm.
Summer Safety was like, oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Betty Widow, we said, oh shit. Oh. Geno re-nominated. Oh. Now we're here. We have reached full maximum enjoyment.
And my thing is no shade. But out of all of the blacks who could be at risk, it was the right one for me.
Because I'm going to be honest, the real gag is I don't give a fuck. No shade. Josh can definitely go. Because guess what? We're going to talk about it, but Geno's not nominating Summer.
It
ain't. So Josh can go. Flip the damn vote, please.
Actually, Josh could go. I fear.
Flip the vote, babe. Flip it, please. Oh no.
Flip my bat again.
With this triple coming up, I don't have time for my sister to be nominated. So if Geno gonna keep us safe, I'm okay with the showman in top 5.
Flip it again, Aaron. Flip it again, girl. I don't care. Flip the vote.
Flip flop.
So, bitch.
Kiss this ass that twerks.
Kiss this ass that twerks. Kiss this ass.
That is so iconic. Okay.
Anyways, bitch, why do I keep moving this like it's fucking hair? Anyways, y'all. So the final nominees are who's it? Josh, who can go home, and Geno, who can go home. So we're having a wonderful, wonderful, great time, as you can see. or whatever. What else happened? Nothing. Those the final nominees now.
Well, okay, so
Well,
essentially, the setup of the house right now
mm-hmm.
is, of course, Betty and Summer are keeping Josh. They're locked in to keep Joshua. And then Kevin and Helena, we're not 100% sure, right? It's because Helena is very indecisive, especially when it comes to really, really big votes like this.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen her with the Josh and Stephanie vote. We've seen her with the Tanisha vote. Now we're seeing her again with Josh. She has these moments where she just cannot decide. And I understand because she's been playing this middle, through and through game that it's hard to pick a side when she has to pick a side. But Kevin, for the most part, he seems like he's always been on board. Like when they're having conversations, it's almost like he's convincing her to do it more and more because he really, really wants to make the move. And at this point, which we'll talk about, Josh Ashton's probably not even winning. So the move is keep Josh. And as of right now, they're voting to keep Josh and they're blindsiding JL, Geno, and Marty. Which is another reason why Helena is so iffy about it. So that's kind of where we stand right now. I mean, it's almost no hope for Josh. I mean, not Josh, Geno. But who knows what can happen? What today is? Tuesday. We still got another day.
Yeah, and they be doing whatever. So going into next week after this vote, it is going to be a triple eviction. So on Thursday, when whoever is voted out, they're going to play another HOH. That person's going to nominate 3 people. They're going to play a veto. Whatever that happens, and 2 people are going to be voted out alongside whoever gets voted out with this vote.
Exactly.
So going into that situation, it seems like, because this is important when we're giving a rating, it seems like Kevin is going to be the most safe. Marty is going to be the least safe in that situation. We can dive more into it when we talk about their ratings, because there's kind of a hierarchy of safeness when it comes to that triple.
And that's really important for the rating.
And it's really important. So, you ready?
I'm ready, girl.
Let's get into it. Tomorrow is my day off. Okay. First of all,
oh my God, 3 people are going to be gone after this week.
I know. We're going to be down to 5 after this week. First of all, let's talk about Moosey Poo and how we feel about Moosey Poo as a overall player. You know what's funny? We've been giving the lowest overall player ratings. God damn it. Like, the only people who got real ones is Tanisha and her mom. Okay, but overall, how do you feel about Moose as a player?
I think Moose overall as a player, I think he has potential. I honestly think he has potential. He's obviously a really, really good speaker. He has the capability of getting people to kind of change their mind and think about things. I think, if you try to base him as an overall player from this season alone, it's not really going to work, because a lot of the reason why he was targeted is because of the assumption that he was working with all of the Black players. I mean, originally, he literally hated Herman, Tanisha, and Summer, but Kyle, for some reason, assumed they were all working together and he was forced to be with them. And because he had thrown them under the bus and then was forced to be with them, they never really felt trust with him. And they were also never able to clinch power after that week. So it's like, this was a very situational thing. But Moose also had a lot of downsides. For the most part, he was never really able to read the house, I feel like, the way he really needed to. He wasn't really sure what angle he should play, I feel, a lot of times. Once the Kyle situation happened, he was like, I'm loyal to the niggas and that's it. And it's like, we stand that, but we would have loved to see a little bit more. He was able to skate by, but he was never able to really, really put a stake in the foundation. And the difference between him and I feel like a Herman or a Tanisha is that, they were in those positions and they were still able to have some agency in the game. Moose was not able to get any agency after being targeted. So that makes me a little bit lower on him, but I think I want to settle on a 5. I do think he has replacement level knowledge of the game. Like, he has only seen one season, but I do think he has a really, really good knowledge. He's someone who I feel like if they were to come back with more knowledge of the game, realizing his mistakes and also not being grouped with people who he's literally not working with, Moose could do really well and go really far.
I agree. I think Moose is a replacement-ish, level-ish player because even coming in at the beginning, even though he was being really messy and people were catching on, but even though you're messy, if you do enough work to make yourself safe, you can still be safe. And in that situation, he really did sell himself up to where it was like, people were probably going to end up targeting him eventually, but at the beginning, he was in a good position. Really, the only reason he got edited out of that position is because of he who shall not be named. So, with that being said, I feel like he could have had a better path. And even with this is kind of like the worst timeline for Moose damn near, well, other than him getting evicted. This was a pretty bad timeline for his game to go. And he did pretty well. Like, he kept skating by because he did handle being on the block very well. He handled being a target very well. When he got targeted, he was like, okay, I'm gonna win the veto and I'm gonna shut the fuck up. And like, hey, good job. Like, he did what he needed to do. So I felt like it was like kind of impressive how he kept sliding by because it seemed like he just really should have just went pre-drew, like damn near where Tanisha went home. It really should have just been Moose. But also he had a lot of flaws in his game and he would have been targeted regardless. And he didn't do enough to crawl out of that hole that he was in. Even when he had like kind of opportunities, he still didn't I feel like harp on that enough at all. So I think I'm going to give him a 4.5 overall, which is pretty decent. I feel like if he can learn, like Lee said, through this experience and come back and play again, I do think he could be an actual a good player, or whatever. So that is Moose. Now we can get into the people who are still in the game, starting with Betty. Period. How you feeling about Betty?
So, like I said, Betty, that's still my girl. Okay. I gave her that 5.5 last week, and I'm gonna stick with that 5.5. I don't want to be too low on Betty because at the end of the day, I think that she does show a lot of promise. If she's able to get past that triple and then be in that final five situation, I don't see anyone necessarily coming at her in that position. And like I said, then she's only like 2 or 3 more comp wins away from winning the game. The jury has spoken about wanting people to win that are wanting to win these competitions and fighting to be there. I think Betty winning this veto this week shows a lot to people who are more game centered when it comes to competitions like Moose, Herman, Geno, and they're all going to be sitting in jury. She probably has Josh and Summers vote. Betty can win this fucking game. Okay. So I need y'all to start realizing that. My only fear with Betty is that this triple is coming up. I don't know how many people are going to be who are able to save her. I know Helena and Helena and Kevin have spoken about nominating her. I'm pretty sure JC Lynn would too. With Josh staying, I feel like as long as Josh or Summer or herself wins, which is a good chance they will, they can, then she's going to be safe and she's going to be sitting in that final five. Very pretty and very easy to get to that final two. So I'm going to keep her at a 5.5, barring the triple. Because it's a good chance that she can still go. Anybody can go on triple because 2 people are going home under 1 HOH because Canada is weird. So I'm praying for my girl. I'm hoping she can get through. Hopefully she just win HOH. I feel like that's the best scenario for me. She wins, keep Summer and Josh there, and we keep pushing from there.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I would have on a normal week. I feel like I would have gave Betty a 6 this week, but because of the triple, I feel like it's kind of everybody kind of has to be a hesitant rating because anything can really happen at the triple. I do think Betty is one of the more safer 3. I feel like between Kevin, Helena, and Betty, they're the least likely to go home, in my opinion, coming into the triple. So that's really good for her, and that's why she's going to get one of the higher ratings, in my opinion. I do think she's been playing these last couple rounds pretty well because she set herself up well. Geno going home is great for Betty. That's good for Betty. I think the only obstacle Betty has to overcome is the Kevin Helena situation, even the Josh being involved with them. That situation, she needs to dead that up. So if Kevin or Helena go at the triple, that would be very, very good for Betty. So we'll see. But I'm gonna give Betty a 5.5. I feel modest. I feel hesitant because the triple's coming up. We don't really know what's going to happen. The next person is Geno. We have been giving Geno, lower. We've been giving him the lower average level player ratings because he's been in a decent position, but he hasn't been doing anything. So we had to kind of settle around 4s and 5s for Geno because I just feel like Geno hasn't been, anything at all. He's just been lucking up into the positions that he's been in. And it's interesting because this really is just showing how, the archetype that Geno is really I don't think is going to necessarily succeed in a new age Big Brother game as successfully as they have in the past. Like Geno is going home this week. You're going home. Mm-hmm. So that's very interesting. I will say it's somewhat circumstantial. If Marty had a sane brain cell, this wouldn't have necessarily happened. So I will say that. But Geno literally, kind of asked to be nominated because
literally.
I feel like he has a type of, and I feel like a lot of white men have this kind of like, we want to be a savior. I feel like I need to be an alpha. I feel like I need to do. I feel like Geno felt like, I'm gonna say it, I feel like Geno felt a little feminine to not be included and to not be at risk. I feel like he felt like the manly thing to do would be to include myself. I'm a man. If JC Lynn and Helena are going to be in this, I'm going to be in this too. I can do it too. And I feel like that mentality is what's going to fuck him. And I feel like it's been here this whole time, him wanting to target Marty, him wanting to target Kyle. These are his allies. I know it helped in this world, but in every world, it's not going to work. I feel like Geno does have kind of a, an issue with that, trying to be a alpha male. So with that being said, baby, he's going home. He didn't do much to help his case. He's trying to plead to Summer, who he had just nominated. Baby, cut it off. You was treating her like what booty. So it's gonna be really a 2 for me, and that's being generous. That's only because Helena dumbass is not even sure.
Mm-hmm. And okay, and I definitely see what you're saying, but I think I want to give Geno a 3. Okay, just a little bit higher, only because of the simple fact that, like, you're right. Like, he kind of put himself in this position because his dumbass wanted to, be in the gummy bear drawer. But like you said, if Marty was not an idiot, he would not be targeting his own ally anyway. So this wouldn't be an issue. Geno, the thing about him is that he has a very, very natural, good social game about him. That's mainly because of his looks and things like that. However, that's something that he has. That's something that's always going to be with him wherever he goes. So I think that's a positive for his game. But, this week, it really just shows, like, that type of gameplay where you're not really moving anything forward. You're basically just being a pretty face. It's going to come to an end. You can't just get to the end being a pretty face. I said that from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like Farrell just said, the only person he's really pleading to is Summer, who he just fucking nominated, which he did not have to nominate. And now he's pleading for her vote. That is really funny how that works. He's only focused on his JC Lynn relationship. He's tried to reach out to Josh when he felt like he should, and then he never really further strengthened that bond. I mean, the Final Four with Josh and Betty was basically a thing, not a thing anymore towards the end of his own HOH week. So he just clearly is not someone that had a good game focus. I'm glad he's going home because I thought there was a possibility he could win. So now knowing that no one respects Marty and Geno is going home, I do think this season ending will have a great outcome. Unless Jason Lynn gets there. However, I feel like with Geno going out now, she almost definitely just does not win. So that's great.
That's good for us. How do you feel about Helena?
Now, Helena.
Every damn time.
I'm so sorry, Helena fans. I want to like Helena. I really do. But I think my issue with Helena is just that, and we always say this, she's not gonna win. She's playing for second. It's interesting because this week, her and Kevin were talking, and this is why I said I think Kevin is trying to sway her to keep Josh, because in the conversation he was basically saying, like, do you want to keep Geno and get second? Could 20K really change her life? Because 20K is a second place prize. And she's like, honestly, it could, but I don't want to get second. I want to make the move and da-da-da. Girl, it don't matter where you go because you're getting second, okay? Because at the end of the day, Josh is going to beat her. Kevin is going to beat her. JC Lynn probably beats her at this point. Betty, at this point, I think, could beat her. Summer is still pretty iffy. She got to win a few more competitions. She might can beat Marty because Marty has pissed that many people off. But even his game is something of some sort of respect, because of the confidence he has. It's just, I don't think people are realizing that, yes, Helena is in a very great position, but that is mainly due to the work that Kevin does. Now, I will say they do collaborate on a lot of ideas, but it doesn't matter because Kevin's name is on it. If there are any Survivor fans, I feel like I can compare this definitely to the Shan and Ricard relationship. It's like they're collaborating, and Ricard feels like, oh well, my name is on it, but we all see it as Shan's move because it is Shan's move because Shan did the work. Kevin is the one kind of really doing the work. I mean, and even this week, it's like, is Helena doing what's best for her game? Because Marty is loyal to his song too with her, and when she cuts Geno, JC Lynn, who if she has built a relationship with for weeks, is no longer going to trust her. Marty, who has had a final two with her and who has been loyal to it since like week 2 when he had HOH, is not going to trust her. Betty and Helena don't like her, and Josh is more loyal to Kevin. Who is more loyal to Helena in this game? When it comes to that safety, to the final 3, if she's not in the next debate, Betty. Is she getting Josh's save? Is Marty or Jason Lynn going to save Helena after she just betrayed them? So I don't know. It's really not looking too good for her. I am going to keep her at that 5 I gave her last week for the simple fact that I do think because of the connection to Josh and Kevin, that could potentially get her through this triple, but she is at risk. Very much so. I do think that after this triple, she might be in a good position to get second, and that's the issue.
Yeah, let's really get into it because I like what you mentioned. And let's get into it. The people in the house who are more loyal to Helena than Kevin is Marty and JC Lynn. The 2 people who Helena this week is going to blindside because of Kevin, who she is going to betray because of Kevin. This move, like the Tanisha move, is cutting off her whole supply of agency. And so that's why when their discussions are happening about Helena, would we rate Helena and how Helena is as a player? When I get confused when people don't understand, like she is like isolating her own numbers. JC Lynn is one of the main people who she needs in order to possibly win this game, in my opinion. And she's about to lose her. JC Lynn, first of all, even if JC Lynn is like, fuck, I got to work with Helena now because I don't got nobody. Helena wants JC Lynn to go at the triple because who wants JC Lynn to go at the triple? Kevin. So it doesn't even matter because JC Lynn is probably going to go at the triple because Helena wants that, because Kevin wants that. Helena has a lack of, she's a good player. And it's frustrating. I think this is why she gets drugged the most by me, because she does have a lot of influence on the game that she just does not use. She literally just hands it to Kevin. She has a lot of good qualities as a player, but the fact that she allows Kevin to always have the one up on her, it's not even that Kevin is just so smart and he tricks her and that. She literally will talk to him, say, I just feel like this is better for you. I feel like this isn't good for me. I feel like this is the worst move for me. And then she does it anyway. Every time. I caught my light. Every time. And it's like, bro, like, can you please stand up? Stand up! Like, she's like,
for your own game.
Like, it's top fucking A. You know it's about to be a triple, and you're still going to do what's better for Kevin's game than your own. I cannot like give her anything. I do not see her winning, even against Summer. If Summer gets there, first of all, if Summer gets there and she doesn't win a comp, honestly, I see the jury be like, how the fuck did she get there without winning a comp? And they're gonna vote Summer. If Summer gets there and she wins a comp, they're gonna be like, well, Summer won a comp. There you go. I don't see Helena win it because that's the only person Helena could possibly beat right now. But I don't even see that happening. So honestly, at this fucking point, Helena is never going to win the game. And it's like, why are you doing this to yourself? It's like every week she just continues like to worsen her chance at winning. I do think she'll get second place, so 20K might be enough. She might have to settle for that.
Honestly, she said it.
She said it. I'm gonna give her a 5 because she's a good player. I think she's more safe than a lot of other people at the triple, but safety is not all this game is, and I do think that's what Helena is settling for. I think Helena settles for safety. Don't settle for safety. You need to settle for fucking being in the best position, for winning, for being the person driving the boat. She settles for safety every single time.
And I think that's a good point because I feel like I have said this before. There's a difference between playing to win and playing to go far. Helena's playing to go far. Kevin is playing to win.
Mm-hmm. Period. That's that on that. JC Lynn. Uh, it just gets funny when we talk about her because
every time it's like a break, it's like, oh, okay.
So JC Lynn is cute. It's interesting because now she's trying to play the game. She has been starting to try to spread seeds of something between Kevin and Helena, which doesn't really work because Kevin has such a big ass grasp on Helena's locks. So it's really just going to like not really work. But JC Lynn is trying, so that's interesting. But it's a bad week for JC Lynn because Geno is going home. She has no idea. She's probably going to go at the triple. I think JC Lynn, other than Marty, is at the most risk and might even be more than Marty because Marty could easily win the veto. And if Marty win the veto, JC Lynn is out. Like, there's really no way to save her. I will say, Summer and Betty have been having conversations about how they do want to save JC Lynn in a situation, but that would have to be literally JC Lynn, Marty, and like Kevin or Helena on the block, and that might not even happen, you know? Like, but if it does, that could be okay for JC Lynn, but either way, it's still not looking good. Her likelihood of winning, I feel like, I don't think it's horrible like a Helena, but I do feel like it's going to be hard for her to get there and get to the end. But JC Lynn isn't bad at comps. If she can win the triple HOH, or if she can survive the triple, like win the veto, and then she goes on a comp run, she could win the game. Or even if she wins the veto and then they're like, well, we can't target JC Lynn because there's all these other people here, then that could be good for her too. I still see a path. I just don't think it's promising. And I also don't think she's played well necessarily at all. Last week, she had the opportunity to get out Marty. Now, I know Marty isn't actively necessarily targeting her and Geno. He doesn't necessarily want this, but the reason they wanted to backdoor him is because he's so senile. It's because he's so unpredictable. It's because he will backstab their his allies. So she should have used her secret veto. Imagine getting the power and not using it. Like, I don't know. She should have used it to let Marty
now
go.
Marty is taking out her man.
Because now Marty is the reason that she's going to be in a very bad position. If that didn't happen, well, I will say Betty would have won HOH and probably did anyways. But the point is, now Marty is the person doing this, and I feel like she took zero agency when she could have had more agency in preventing that. So, with that being said, I'm gonna have to give her a 3.
Mm-hmm.
A 3 is what I'm gonna have to give her. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna give Jason a 3.5. Only for the simple fact that Geno's going home, and I think Jason Lynn, she has proven to be a better active player than Geno. Okay. And she also has potential to win, so I don't want to put her that low. Mm-hmm. If she could get past this triple, I do think she has also a chance of winning the game or taking Helena's $20K check, for Fall 2. So that's really good. The issue is, like Farrell stated, I mean, girl, you can say almost everything. I mean, she may go home and drop triple.
Yeah.
She probably can win if she do a comp run, but it's just like her win will be very situational. Like, there's a lot of things that have to go right for her to really be able to get to the end and win. There really isn't a bright path for her. 90% of her game conversations is trashing Summer. I wish you would keep a black woman's name out of her bitch ass mouth. Just because your man wants Summer does not mean that you can talk shit about her all the time because you're mad. That's why she won safety, and that's egg on your face, Miss Mamas. So yeah, it's gonna be a 3.5, and that's that on Miss JC Lynn.
And that's that on that. How do you feel?
I said it last week about Mr. Joshua. I said it last week about Joshua, and I'm going to continue to say I'm very disappointed in Joshua. He was almost going home this week, and for that alone, I'm giving him a 4. Even if he can make it past the triple, I'll rise then. But the man was almost going home this week, and it's because of his own inability to take agency in the game. Like we said a while ago, you see Tanisha way back down there in the gray? Yeah, that's when he should have been taking control of the game. You see how it goes 4 people who he's aligned with, and now Geno is going another person that he was aligned with because he just cannot seem to take control. Him and Helena, they just want to give all power to Kevin. And at this point, even if he is able to make it past the triple, which I do think is a bit possible, and who's taking his ass to the end? Who want to take his ass to the end? You know what I mean? I do think at that point, if he's sitting in the final five, where let's say Kevin, Helena, Summer, and Betty, he'll have a good chance. And like I said, I'll rise his scores in. But for now, the fact that the man was almost out of the door, literally, if Kevin or Helena was nominated next to him, his ass would be out. It's going to be a 4.
Tomorrow is my day off. Just like JC Lynn, Josh also could have prevented Marty from being here. Josh threw the veto last week. He was in final 2 in the veto, and he threw. He allowed Helena to win the veto.
If he would have had HOH this week, he would have been the safest person in the house.
He could have been. This was even worse for Josh than it was for anybody else to have thrown that veto. Josh threw that veto, knowing that he needed Marty to go. That was like the dumbest thing ever. I am not necessarily anti-throwing comps, but when it comes to Josh, I don't know what the fuck he thought that was. That was a very horrible move. I don't like that move at all. And I feel like it's just showing right now. He would have went home had a gummy bear not been drawn. Mind you, Geno, like a lot had to happen for Josh to not go home this week after the veto, because if Geno just didn't even say nothing and let the gummy bears say what they had to say, it probably would have been Helena and Kevin, because their chances would have been way higher, and he would have went the fuck home. Josh didn't even do enough work to prevent Helena and Kevin from being the renom. He didn't do much at all. I didn't like how he played this week at all, and it just shows like he has zero agency. I love Josh as a person, but you can tell that he's a bottom, because the way that he applied, the way that he's played this game, I'm playing. But no, literally, like Josh has zero control. And it's frustrating, because it's like he's had so much ability to have control throughout the game. And it's like, it pisses me off. And I talked about this last week or the week before? Yeah. It doesn't matter. I talked about how this man, like, it frustrates me because he has so much potential. And the way he is set up in the house had so much potential. But I just feel like it's just not there. I'm gonna have to give him a 4 too, and I feel like a 4 is even generous at this point. God damn, but it's gonna be a 4. I don't think he is going home at the triple, but he still isn't the safest. I do feel like Helena and Kevin
would cut him. I think Summer would cut him after that. And I think Kevin after that. The only person who's gonna be 100% loyal to him is Betty. Now at that point, let's say the top 5 is Helena, Kevin, Betty, and Summer. I think Josh has proven, even though he has not won, he's proven that he is, I guess, better at comp, because he's been second in almost all of them, and he's claimed to throw it. At that point, in final 5, you shouldn't throw. But that's the thing. Josh is such a passive player that he generally throws these comps because he doesn't want to be the one responsible for nominating these people. I mean, Kevin this week told Josh, if you win HOH, you better be ready to put up Betty and Summer. And he reluctantly said, yeah. I don't think he's putting up Betty. I think he may put up Summer. But I don't think he's touching Betty, especially with no damn Helena. So the thing is, we've never known Josh's true intentions, honestly. So who knows who he's more loyal to? If he does win that triple and he puts up Summer, that man will never get respect from me for the rest of the season. I'm letting y'all know right now. I will be 1,000% biased on Josh moving forward. But let's just see.
And I want to say, like, also when it comes to the jury, like, I do think it seemed like Josh had a lot. I seemed like he was gonna get all the jury votes, but now that we know what Moose has said about how he feels about his jury vote, Moose was like, I'm not voting that man. I do feel like Herman is going to have a little bit more influence in what Moose will want to do. I feel like, honestly, we kind of should just stick to what Herman said, because I do feel like Moose could be swayed by Herman. And in the jury, it's about who has the most influence in the jury. Whoever is the most influential inside the jury is going to, have whatever they want to happen. And honestly, it's looking like whatever Herman is going to vote is probably going to be the vote. I know that's kind of a jump to say, but when Geno comes in, Geno probably going to just listen to what Herman says, and so is Moose. So that's the first 3 people in jury are probably going to be thinking how Herman was thinking. And with that being said, I wouldn't knock Josh necessarily for that. I think by the time he gets there, they'll probably just be like, you know what, let's vote Josh. So I still think he's okay, but Moose did say what he said, and maybe he'll stay infirm. We will see.
But
Um,
I feel like it sucks
yeah,
overall because it's like the only good thing about Josh winning for me now is that he is a queer, black man.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, when I'm analyzing his gameplay, other than having an incredible social game, which I will give him that, it's a 10, there really is no other aspect that I feel like that shows that he deserves to win almost.
yeah.
I do think he probably will win, and I'll be very happy if he does win a black winner on you hoes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I wish that he just wanted it more,
Yeah,
it almost feel like he doesn't even want it that bad.
yeah,
It sucks.
yeah. I agree. I agree. I guess he said it. I guess he said he was going to. He'll probably play like Cindy with us. But damn, baby, like I don't know. Like, and if I had to choose, I would probably choose Betty or Summer to win because I just feel like like you said, it doesn't seem like Josh really wants it. But it's okay if Josh wins. I'm still gonna be happy. And I don't think Josh is a bad player. We have yet to give Josh necessarily a bad rating when he's not nominated. He's nominated this week. It's kind of why we have to do it. So it's kind of like we say all of this, but Josh technically isn't a bad player. He is great socially. He's always in a good position. People be crying, ready to kill themselves when he get nominated and shit. So it's like if he gets to the end and we have to analyze his game, there's going to be some positives that we can say. And people just play differently. Like not everyone is going to be a strategist. But it's hard to swallow sometimes when someone isn't necessarily a strategist or when someone could be and they just don't. Like Josh, it's like But whatever. We will start talking about an actual strategist now. How are you feeling about Kevin?
So King Kevin, like it's like he has really been able to like put a staple into the season.
Mm-hmm.
I said it last week, I'll say it again this week. He is definitely one of the best players I feel like I've ever seen play this game. He just has this influence without even seeming like someone who's a dominant player. I think it
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot of finesse to achieve that. He has people who are literally in tears at the fact of thinking he may leave the game. He
Mm-hmm.
has two people who are doing every move to benefit him. No one at this point is probably eliminating him in the triple. Even if he gets put up, he will get saved no
Mm-hmm.
matter what. So
Mm-hmm.
I do think he's in a really, really good position. As we can see, there is some discourse about him from the jury so far. Herman has said, I don't really respect Kevin. Moose
Mm-hmm.
has been really high on Kevin. I don't think Herman can convince Moose in this scenario to, you
I
know, take his opinion away from Kevin. So that's really
Mhm,
good. I do think at this point Kevin likely ends up next to Helena or maybe JC Lynn, and
mhm,
I do think he has a great chance of winning. So it's going to be an 8 again for Kevin. Like he is really dominating this game. Every elimination since Tynesha's, he has either had the power to flip or has just controlled the vote.
mhm.
So, and the fact that he's going into the most dangerous portion of the game, the safest, you gotta give him that, man. You gotta give him his tens. You gotta give
Yeah.
him his tens. And honestly, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, if he make it past that triple unscathed and he's still not the target come the end of week of final five, baby,
Mhm.
he might get a 10.
The end of
Because
Final Dance.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Like and it sucks because it shouldn't be this easy for Kevin. You should have Josh. You
Mhm,
should have Helena all being more self-interested and working
mhm.
against him to a certain extent, but they aren't.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I don't want to make it seem like, well, I'm just calling them out because is Betty or Summer or Jason Lynn or Geno doing anything? No, but they also are not in a position to do anything, whereas
Mhm,
Helena and Josh have been in the position to do things for weeks,
mm.
and it has been slowly and slowly and slowly all just ticking away to Kevin. And Kevin is just absorbing it, and he's in this position to where I think they want to lose to him. I think they'd be okay with
Yep.
losing to him. Like,
It'll be okay.
Kevin is that girl. I'm sorry. You know what? 8.5, actually.
There you go. I feel very similarly. It's interesting because every week I go higher on Kevin and I go lower on Helena and I go lower on Josh. I just feel like Kevin is just taking more and more control every week. And the longer Kevin lasts, the more likely it is that he will win. I feel like a few weeks ago when Summer slightly mentioned him, that was going to be the only, path of him having any contingency and that didn't happen. So now at this point, it's like, who gonna take out Kevin? Like Kevin is probably going to make it to the end of this game, and hopefully can get the votes to win. Like you said, I do think that it's going to be easier for Herman to convince Moose to support someone than it is to convince him to not support someone, if that makes sense. Moose isn't wanting to vote Summer right now, but I think Herman can convince him to vote Summer. Moose does want to vote Kevin. I don't think Herman can convince him to not want to vote Kevin, but I do think he can convince him to want to vote Summer or Josh or whatever. You know what I'm saying? To clear that up. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's going to be horrible for Kevin. I think the more people go into jury, the more of his game will be exposed and the more people will start to respect and understand it. So that's really good. But I do think that's the only part of his game that I'm hesitant about is the jury votes, because I just honestly don't know. Other than that, he just does so well. Everything goes his way. I will say it's a little bit of luck involved. He didn't necessarily fully convince Marty of not doing what he did. It wasn't that Marty just, oh my God, Helena and Kevin convinced me to not do it. That's not what happened, to clear that up. What happened was Marty's crazy and he decided that he was going to just put people in a box. And mind you, Marty was very okay with Helena and Kevin being way more likely to be selected because Geno wasn't even in the draw. So it's not like perfect for Kevin, but things still did go his way. But I will say Helena could have easily been nommed, and it would have been Helena and Josh, his two closest allies on the block, and that wouldn't have been good for him. He did not unconvince that from happening. He did make Marty feel less scared about putting that. Marty was kind of like leaning towards Kevin and Helena, and they did fix that, but it didn't like cause him to just straight up nom Geno. But other than that, Kevin ate. Like Kevin eats, he really does really, really well. He does really, really good. He always is in a good position. He's been in a good position. Every time I think like, ooh, it might be looking bad, it just works out. It just works out. It does. He is going to be, this is a crazy because I don't think he can go home at the triple. Even if they wanted to, even if Summer won HOH and was like, you know what? My goal is to get out Kevin. There is no combination of people she can put up to even get out Kevin. It just will not work. So I don't know. He's really, really good. I'm gonna have to give him 8.5 too. I was on the cusp of a 9, but for me, you're gonna have to be real, real good to get a 9. But he could get a 9 next week, y'all. Child, stay tuned. Marty. Marty.
Marty is literally, we've said it before, he's senile. I'm just going to get the score out the way. I'm going to give him a 2. The only reason why it's not a 1 is that, sadly, he can win competitions. He is the biggest target in the triple. Literally, if he doesn't win VO, Marty is one of the people going home in the triple. Point blank in the motherfucking period. The gag is he could win VO. Now, for Marty to win the game, if Marty gets the final 2, sadly, he can still win. But for him to get there, he'd probably have to make it through. He would literally have to make it through the triple, final 5, and final 4, and then win a final 3 to get himself there. The gag is not impossible because
that's only 4 comps if
in
he
the
done
game. And it's even towards there. However, as a game player, I will never be that high on him. He could win this game, and he will win the game at a 2. I don't care. The man is not smart. He's putting up the person who trusts him the most after literally backstabbing him like 10,000 times. No one likes him. The fact that he is going to be the most targeted person is a problem, especially after being potentially in one of the best positions. He really could have been in a great position if he just plays his position well. Because Kevin and Helena like him, Marty and JC Lynn like him, Summer and Josh don't hate him. Only person who really dislikes him is Betty, which he attempted to get out. So I guess I'll give him that. But you should have stuck to your guns and tried to get out Josh. I mean, think about with the game. Think about how the numbers lie. I mean, you don't want to put up Kevin and Helena, but if that sends Josh home, then Josh gotta go. The fact that Geno is even a thought. It just clearly shows how out of touch he is when it comes to this game. I don't think he knows the game he's playing. I don't think that he knows the game he's in. And I don't like him. So he's a 2.
Marty has never got out his target. It seemed like Marty has won all these comps, and every time he wants somebody to go,
Betty was his target all 3 times, and she ain't went not once.
And she ain't went not once. Like Marty, there's nothing. Well, I'm not even talk to Summer. I feel like with Summer, I love Summer, I really do, but damn, baby, It's bad for Summer because Summer just has no in-game plans. And this was bad because I felt like if I was in Summer's position, it would have been me and Marty gonna have a real final two. I'm gonna have a final two with Kevin. I'm gonna have a final two with Helena. Me and Betty gonna have a final two. I'm gonna make one with Josh. Fuck it. I'm gonna make a final two with Geno, and I'm gonna make a final two with JC. Summer was in that I'm alone position. She did not use that the way she needed to use that at all. I feel like she slightly did it and then went away. And it's like, where did you go? I need her to be on her shit. And she's not on her shit. She hasn't won a damn comp. And it's like, that's really looking really, really bad for her. Yes, she's a great social player, but people are not really going to just want to vote for her like that. I do think Summer is the type of player who can win playing this game. I think Summer has energy about her that gives her, I don't know, authority. So if she makes it to the end, I do think Summer could win. But no one is saying that. I'm just talking out my ass. I feel like Summer is in a not in the worst position, but not in a good position going into the triple. If Marty or JC Lynn win the veto, Summer probably could just go home at the triple. It's not looking good for her. Summer could easily just go. Even if she stays past the triple, she doesn't have any final three, final two plans. So it's not guaranteed that anybody will even take her to final two or final three. I feel like Summer might just go home after that, especially if she can't win a comp. But if she can win the last couple comps and make a Paris, she could win the game. But that's her only path, and that's not a path that I have faith in necessarily. What's good is that she's not nominated this week. She's not going home this week. She can play the triple HOH. The triple could go good for her, but it could also go bad for her. And she doesn't have any final plans. Honestly, I'm gonna give Summer a 3.5.
Good jams. Yeah, it's really not looking too good for Summer. I love her so much. I am her biggest supporter. But that's definitely as a person, as a player, you know, she was once at the top of this game. She was getting our highest scores. It just always just taken from her. And yes, I will say taken because I don't think it was something that she actually caused herself. You know, she, among the other Black players, affected by the grouping of Black players, was just screwed. I mean, there's no secret. Summer and Boost and Tanisha and Herman were affected the most because of it. Mm-hmm. Betty and Josh, mainly Josh, because Josh is with Kevin and Helena, he's good. And Betty's connection to Josh has kept her good as well. Mm-hmm. But, you know, Summer, Tanisha, Herman, and Moose were just straight up fucked because of it. I do think, you know, they all could have made it really far in this game, but done really well and have been great players. But like I said, they were grouped together and were unable to kind of get out of that box, which really hindered them. At this point, going into the triple, Summer doesn't have that many people, you know, wanting to keep her safe. Kevin mentioned he does not want to nominate her. And then I know Betty said that, not Betty, Helena has mentioned that her boot order is Marty, JC Lynn, and then Summer. Mm-hmm. So if Marty and JC Lynn are eligible to go home next to Summer, she could stay. But I do think there are way more chances for her to go. Because essentially, when it comes to people who they want to stay in the house, I mean, JC Lynn is not like Summer. Betty would choose Josh over Summer. Mm-hmm. You know, Kevin and Helena would choose each other over Summer. I don't even think Marty would choose her at this point. Marty, but he's gonna be nominated, so it don't even matter. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be really, really tough for Elmo, Miss Summer Girl, and their triple. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, she could just win HOH. I'm going to keep her at a 4. I gave her 4 last week. I'm going to keep her at a 4 because I do think there's a good chance she can make it past the triple. And if she does, if she could just win one, like it's not, she doesn't have to do like a comp run. I think if she wins like final 3 HOH, she could win the game point blank, just straight up, you know? Mm-hmm. So I am going to keep it at 4 because I think there's a really, really good chance that she could get to the end and get to the win. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be a lot of praying because it ain't looking good.
I will say, like, Summer you can tell Summer's still a good player because she's put in a lot of good work setting up the Kevin, Helena blindside to JC Lynn. She knows Kevin and Helena are going to blindside JC Lynn, and she's using that to her advantage. Her and Betty have had conversations about how they need to tell JC Lynn, like, hey, I don't know, like, oops, what if Geno goes home? You know, we're not the ones who blindsided you. So Summer has still a really good game sense. And even though she doesn't have any in-game plans, I still think she's such a smart and savvy player that move of her working on JC Lynn right now. She's starting right now. She's probably going to work on JC Lynn until Thursday, her working on JC Lynn could be beneficial because if JC Lynn wins the triple, she might be like, well, I'm not nominating Betty and Summer because who betrayed me? Kevin and Helena, and Betty and Summer have been planting those seeds the whole week. They've been acting like they want to work with her. So if JC Lynn wins the HOH, then maybe Summer could even slide by, and maybe Kevin or Helena could go home at the triple. Well, not Kevin. Maybe Helena could go home at the triple. And if Helena and Marty go at the triple, that's going to be really good for Summer because JC Lynn is not going to be mad at Kevin. She's rather would probably take Betty and Summer than Josh. That's going to be really good for Summer. So there is a possibility of things working out because of something she helped, which is this new thing with JC Lynn that she's trying to do. But that's a lot of praying.
That's a lot of praying.
So we are going to leave her where she is at. Let me put these girls in order. I know Miss Betty finna be.
I'm going to tell the girls the breaking news. I do see the Twitter updates. Girl, apparently Helena then told JC Lynn that Kevin is considering flipping, and if he flips, she going to have to flip. JC Lynn is now crying.
You are lying.
So like we said, it ain't necessarily guaranteed that Josh is staying. It's really not guaranteed that he's staying because now that JC Lynn knows there's a potential to flip, there's going to get back to Geno, and we still got 2 more days. I do think it comes down to Kevin at the end of the day, and Kevin does not give a damn if he betrays Geno and JC Lynn. He's the only one who actually cares. But at this point, her vote does not matter.
It does, because maybe she'll grow balls. Wait, what's how many balls?
Kevin, I don't think.
She still need Kevin vote.
Being like, no, Kevin, no. And him being like, okay. But that would be stupid for them. Because if Geno stays, Geno is definitely nominating Marty, Helena, Kevin, and Betty in the thing. He's not touching Summer, and that's bad because Josh will probably put up Summer.
Why would Helena do this? I don't think
he can't beat Geno. He probably can beat Josh. So there's a lot of wrong with that. But we gonna see, y'all.
I don't think Helena is doing this smart because if she doesn't, because what does this do for her? I'm not going to think too much into it, but I feel like this doesn't do much for her because her telling JC Lynn, all that is going to do is make Kevin be like, oh, fuck Helena. Or, like, what does this do? JC Lynn's not going to care. You're still going to vote out Geno. Like, if Helena still votes out Geno, JC Lynn's going to be like, okay, you still did it. You stupid bitch. You dumbass.
I think it's Tuesday, girl.
And it's Tuesday. I don't know. I don't like that. Okay. As we see, Kevin is at the top, not Helena. Kevin has an 8.5. He is a wonderful player. I think overall he might even be like higher than the 8.5, but this particular week I'm just gonna give him 8.5.
Wait, rankings the exact same, but
as last week.
Summer and Geno are switched. That's literally
funny.
Summer and Geno are switched.
It is. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. Well, yep, that's how we're feeling. Not much has moved. Kevin.
For once. Thank God.
For once. Our girl Betty 8. Helena and Josh are still where they're at, how we said last week. Y'all had a lot of backlash about last week. I think y'all need to reevaluate. I think y'all need to think a little bit. I still stand firm on the fact that Helena and Josh are not those girls like that. And we're gonna leave it at that.
I mean, Josh is nominated. The thing is, you can't be mad about Josh this week because he's nominated. Betty is not. Oop. And then, like we just explained, we're definitely gonna post a video because it gets the girls mad. But Helena's not winning. Betty can win. Point blank.
Period. And with that being said, this is the rankings of our ratings or whatever. And last but not least, what we gotta talk about next? Our draft.
That
I'm finna win.
Girl, the fact that I could literally lose because Geno was out, I could essentially lose Summer and Betty in the triple. So I could literally
see, but you got Kevin. You having Kevin is real clutch because Kevin is eating this shit up. Marty, Geno is out. So really it's 4-3. I done caught up. But Marty and JC Lynn are at the most risk, and Helena cannot win. So my only hope is Josh, and it really has only been Josh for a while. I will say.
Well, at this point, honestly, JC Lynn is a good chance for you as well.
She could, if she survives this triple. Then I have Josh and JC Lynn. I have zero hope for Helena. Me having Helena is just a fucking dud. Me having Helena is like me having a blank picture. It really sucks because she's never winning this fucking game. I hate it. Hopefully she can because then I win the draft, but I don't think she can. People were saying, they were like, well, all the girls said they wanted to vote a woman to win. So that could be good for Helena. I don't know if that will apply.
I don't think that's going to apply next to Josh or Kevin.
I just don't think it applies for Helena.
It doesn't, because who does Helena beat? Helena would have to beat Marty. That doesn't apply.
I don't think it applies. Her fans were trying to hot pipe. But yeah, girl, I don't know who's gonna win. Honestly, you could win with Kevin. I think that's the most likely thing is you winning with Kevin.
I mean, the gag is English bitch can still win. That's the real gag.
You know what? And that's the gag. There's not much shit to say because that's the gag. With that being said, so hold on. This was a great update. Join us next week. So when we will be talking about the triple, we will be talking about all the 3 people who get voted out. We will also be talking about the 5 people left in the final 5 of this game or whatever. Please follow us at TV of the Kingdom on Twitter and on Instagram, where we'll be updating y'all and talking about all the juice or whatever. Now, thank you. If you want to watch Survivor, watch us next week when we cover Survivor. If you want to watch X on the Beach, watch us next week when we cover X on the Beach.
I mean, this week?
This week where we cover X on the Beach and Survivor.
Oh.
That's it. Bye.